Okay, we have a student performance this evening, and I think that is Mr. Lavelle and Chris Valentine present North Hills Orchestra.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm a senior at North Hills.
Hi, my name is Steven, and I'm a senior at North Hills.
I'm Brandon, senior at North Hills.
I'm Faith, a junior at North Hills. I'm Olivia, and I'm a sophomore.
Great.
So we're all
You didn't even have to ask. That's exactly.
So we're all members of the orchestra, and we're members of the chamber orchestra, which Mr. Lavelle created this year, which is really exciting. And tonight, as you can see, we have a quintet playing for you. And we're playing two pieces. The first one is famous, and I'm sure you will recognize it. And the second one is also quite famous, and you'll probably recognize it for different reasons. They're fairly different pieces. So our first piece tonight is the first movement of Spring by Vivaldi. And our second piece tonight is Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles. So hope you enjoy.
Families here this evening, they ought to be awful proud of you. That was terrific, it really was. Some future symphony orchestra there, that's for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
We have some public recognition this evening, and do I want to turn it over to you or Mr. McGay? Mr. McGay, if you're kind enough to take the podium.
Before I begin, Ella, are you here? Come on up here with me, please. Hello, everybody. I'm here tonight to introduce Ella Tomanek Earl and her accomplishment for participating in the First in Math program. First in Math is an online math program created by a man named Robert Sun and based out of the eastern part of Pennsylvania. Some school districts utilize the program as a supplement to their current curriculum. North Hills is not one of those school districts. However, Ella and her mother both signed up voluntarily during their own free time to participate in this program last school year. Throughout the year, Ella ranked second out of all fourth graders that participated, and overall, fifth out of all students that participated up to eighth grade. Ella's mother, Nikki, also participated, creating a family team, where she placed first out of all family players, pushing the combination of her family team, combined with Ella, to rank second overall out of all family teams that participated. Ella and her mother are here tonight to be recognized for their time, effort, and accomplishments while participating in the First in Math program. So on behalf of the North Hill School District, I'd like to present her with this certificate of achievement for everything that she did.
Mom, you can come up too. Absolutely. Ella, congratulations. Nice dress. You look great.
Congratulations. Here's a little memento from the school district.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to your daughter.
There you go.
It's great.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Good job.
For those of you who didn't know, that was Mr. McGahee, our Ross Elementary principal.
Like math? Fantastic. Good luck.
That was great.
I'll tell you.
Thank you.
May I see that?
Next, we have Mrs. Beth Williams, our senior high school principal. Beth?
Good evening, everyone. Tonight I have the pleasure of recognizing numerous seniors this evening for a variety of outstanding academic achievements. Each of these students is to be celebrated as they exemplify the very best of North Hills High School. The first set of students I'm going to discuss or talk about begins with talking about advanced placement. Advanced Placement, or AP, is a program created by the College Board which offers college-level curricula and examinations to high school students. American colleges and universities often grant placement and course credit to students who obtain high scores on these examinations. The AP curriculum is extremely rigorous, as it is created by a panel of experts and college-level educators in that particular field of study. This past school year, we had many students who took place in taking AP exams. 28 students qualified for the AP Scholar Award by completing 3 or more AP exams with scores of 3 or higher. 5 is the top score, so these students had scores of 3 or higher. Tonight, I'd like to recognize the following AP scholars: Raymond Buhner, Pierce. You can come on up. You have some stuff here for me. You didn't think you were going to get to sit in your seats. You have to come up here and stand with me, because I'm going to be here for a while. Hooray. Congratulations. Sure, you're going to stand. You want to just line them here. Next is Pierce Chafin. Robert Colville.
Bobby Colville. God.
And please forgive me if I butcher your names. I'm trying not to do that. I got it correct. You're welcome. Congratulations. Brendan Diddich. Congratulations. Thanks. Brandon Falcona. Maureen McGrath. Evan Medfish. It's my neighbor. Evan. Congratulations. Hunter Ruck. Claire Schumann. And Andrew Toplick. So those are some of our AP scholars. You're going to be standing again. We have a lot more to recognize. That's the wonderful thing about the high school. You guys going to go across? Sure.
Great job.
You got a lot of giving to do, buddy. Okay. Congratulations. Great job.
Congratulations. And here's the memento from-
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And here's your congratulations. Congratulations. Memento from-
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Excellent work. Thank you. Thank you for representing us.
Next, we had 18 students who qualified for the AP Scholar with Honor Award by earning an average score of at least 3.25 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more of the exams. So we have several to recognize in this category as well, beginning with Alyssa Bell. Sarah Glatz. Victoria Kotwicka. Stephanie Latona. And last but not least, Jeremy Scholes. Fabulous job.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, did you recognize the second song before you were given?
Congratulations. Great team. Love it. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Good job. Good
Congratulations.
job.
To the school district. Congratulations. What a good school district. Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations. You guys sounded fabulous as well. Thanks. Congratulations.
Victoria.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thanks, Sarah. Excellent work. Thank you.
And last but not least, last year we had 20 students who qualified for the AP Scholar with Distinction Award by earning an average score of 3.5 or higher on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 5 or more exams. This means these students took 5 or more AP exams. So I'd also like to recognize with us this evening Anna Aguiar-Kasicki. Nicholas Osmond. Jacob Seiler. And last but certainly not least, Brendan Sieber. Thank you.
Be careful. Don't drop the best thing frame. Congratulations.
Congratulations, sweetie.
Mrs. Bender has her hand up. Yes, ma'am.
I was just curious, these are all AP courses, and they do get college credit for this, do they not?
Yes, they
What-
can, depending on what college or university that they're actually attending.
And if they, in fact, were to use these AP courses, how many college credits would they get? Would it
Well, if they end up scoring, depending on what that college can score, if they take 5 or more exams and they score high enough, they can go into entering their freshman year with already 15 credits accrued, which is pretty impressive
That
and
is
pretty amazing.
fantastic.
And still
It
doing
really
all
is.
the other wonderful things that they do, and all their other classes, all their extracurricular activities, all their other commitments.
I know.
So
So I
again-
don't think some of these students sleep.
Probably not. Probably not. So can we give them one more hand to all of our scholars? The next group of students that I would like to recognize tonight are dealing with the National Merit Scholarship Program. The National Merit Scholarship Program is an academic competition for recognition and scholarships. High school students enter the National Merit Program by taking the preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. This test serves as an initial screen of the approximately 1.5 million entrants each year. Students also must meet published program entry and participation requirements. More than 2/3 of the approximately 50,000 high scorers on this assessment receive letters of commendation in recognition of their outstanding academic promise. It is my pleasure this evening to recognize the following students who will be receiving National Merit Letters of Commendation. They're going to look very familiar to you. Anna Aguiar-Kasicki. Maria Clegg. Sarah Glatz. Stephanie Latona. Colleen McCarthy. And Nicholas Osmond. You guys want to go ahead and go through? Round 2.
You need to take a break, Beth.
Absolutely. Stand in line.
Breath, it's best you take a break.
Get some water, right?
Proud, congratulations. Congratulations. Good job, Sarah. Congratulations.
You'll be at college ready before you get there.
Lastly, about 16,000 students, or approximately one-third of the 50,000 high scorers, are notified that they have qualified as National Merit semifinalists. Semifinalists are designated on a state representational basis. They are the highest scoring entrants in each state. It is my pleasure to announce this year's North Hills High School National Merit semifinalist, Robert Colville.
All right.
And you can, sure, I'll let you go sit.
Great job. Your grandparents will be proud of you.
Good job, Rob. Congratulations, buddy.
Congratulations. You're a two-time winner.
Only $5.
Selling outside, give it to mom or. Worth a lot of money.
Robert, do you have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah.
Sell them. They probably write once and blow up.
And again, if we could have one more round of applause for our National Merit students. I'm almost done, I promise. Last but not least, this past July, a trio of young gentlemen, Adam Averill, graduate Kyle McHugh, and Nicholas Osmond, traveled to Chicago for the Future Business Leaders of America National Leadership Conference in the Management Decision-Making Competition. As a result of their hard work and excellence throughout the competition, they placed 8th in this prestigious national competition. All 3 young men were recognized at the awards assembly. It was called the Awards of Excellence ceremony, and it was actually streamed live. Tonight, I am pleased to recognize Adam and Nicholas for their unbelievable excellence on a national level.
Congratulations. I'm so happy this club is being recognized. Mrs. Kane has always put a lot of time into this.
You guys are the men in black. Good job.
Going to
Congratulations.
business school. Where are you going to school? Congratulations. Congratulations.
I got a whole collection here. Okay, you sure?
And again, one more round of applause for Adam and Nicholas. And lastly, I would be remiss in my responsibilities if I did not make mention of all the wonderful teachers and staff members who helped all of these students achieve academic greatness. That is one thing that I've noticed very quickly at the senior high. The staff is dedicated to providing students with their very best every single day. And I'm sure if you asked each one of these students who was influential in their life, who helped them make the mark that they've made tonight and achieve this greatness, I'm certain that they would name quite a few of the teachers at the high school. So I would just like to thank them as well for all of their hard work. They truly are an outstanding bunch. It is an honor and privilege to recognize not only my seniors tonight, but also my staff. So thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you. I think that's it for public recognition. I have an inferiority complex, so I know a lot of you have not come here to listen to us. You probably came here, so if any of you would like to leave, feel free. I know you came for your students.
They're selling pens outside. If anybody wants to buy those pens back.
Feel free. No, I really feel bad.
I think
Thank
we
you
should-
all for coming, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we should put this at the end of the schedule.
And torture them, right? That's right. Yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Not the grand, the boys. Okay.
familiar for some reason.
They're required to live in the city. I don't know. I guess not. That's police officers.
All right.
Judges.
Okay, we are going to move on to board member comments, and before if anybody wants to make any remarks, I do want to make an announcement that the October 15th school board meeting will not be held. We are canceling that meeting, and we will have our October 8th meeting will be our regular meeting, will also be a voting meeting. So just want the public to know, and I guess that'll be on the website, Lori, I assume.
It is already, yes.
And so that being said, again, we are canceling our October 15th meeting, but we will have our regular meeting on the 8th. Are there any other board member comments? Anybody want to make it? Mrs. Reed?
I'll make this quick. I just want to piggyback on Beth Williams commending our staff and teach for everything that they do. I would like to give a big thanks to Steve Hosa and the whole Social Studies Department. Today was Constitution Day, and they had various lessons incorporated into their lesson plans in grades 7 through 12. Thank you, Steve, and please thank your whole department, the teachers.
Any other board member comments? Thank you. I do not believe there's anybody signed up for public comments, so we can now move on to the approval of the minutes, and that is the approval of the minutes for the June 4th, 2015 work session legislative meeting and the June 11th, 2015 legislative meeting, the July 6th, 2015 legislative meeting, and the August 13th, 2015 legislative meeting.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay.
I will abstain for August 13th since I did not attend that one.
Yeah.
I did watch it on
Okay.
the web, but.
Okay, good.
I'm not sure if I were here for all of them. I know the one I was on a telephone.
We're not,
M-
we do not have to,
I was going to ask Mr. Witherall,
we don't have to.
You don't have to abstain from it. It's an administrative thing only.
Okay.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
Really don't.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sarah or Madeline, do you have anything you want to add this evening?
Not tonight.
Not tonight. Okay, that's all right. You got all those pens over there. Good for you.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How was your internship?
Oh, it was so cool.
That good, huh?
Yeah, the house that I stayed in was right in the city of Cologne pretty much, and the streetcar station was about a 5-minute walk, so I could get anywhere, and it was really cool getting to experience the culture because like we rode our bikes to work every day, and it was weird coming back and having to drive a car because there the bike is the priority and pedestrians and cars have to stop for you.
Sarah, for the millions watching at home on TV, where'd you go?
Did you say where was
Yeah.
I was in Cologne, Germany,
Okay, great.
studying in a cancer research lab for
Great.
4 weeks this summer.
Good stuff. Congratulations, dear. Good job.
So how's your German now?
Oh, it's good.
Better?
Yeah, it's a lot better. We did our introductory projects in German a couple of weeks ago, and Herr Deibel said he thinks I'm about 2 times faster than I was at the end of last year. So.
Great.
Good.
Donka.
Good stuff. Thanks, Sarah. Okay. Superintendent's report.
I do have a report tonight. First off, I would like to congratulate our students and staff on a great start of the school year. The 2015-16 school year started off smoothly on August 24th, thanks to the dedication of our teachers and staff, and I look forward to the many great things ahead this school year. Later this month, on September 29th, the State Department of Education is expected to publicly release the results of last year's PSSA exams for all schools across the Commonwealth. It is widely anticipated that due to the alignment with the new PA core standards, that nearly all districts across Pennsylvania will have fewer students in grades 3 through 8 considered proficient or advanced in math and English language arts. I can tell you now that North Hills is one of those districts, and as stated in this week's Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, many view the new standards as more rigorous that require students to learn some skills at earlier grade levels, and the new tests are more difficult with higher levels of reading required, even for math. Simply stated, the new scores from last year's tests are going to be the new baseline. This year's numbers will force us to start fresh, forget about all the scores from the past, as these new numbers are not due to a change in teaching, as we know that our educators are high achieving and excellent, but due to more rigorous and challenging standards. It is worth noting that the rollout for these more difficult tests was not done in a way that allows our students and staff to be successful. The benchmarks for each level, advanced, proficient, basic, and below basic, were not set until after the tests were proctored and graded, which one can see as a way to ensure failure by all. Additionally, many teachers across the state didn't get sample problems until the middle of the year, and that was if they even got them at all. Due to all of this, drastic drops in scores precipitated the late created benchmarks, utter confusion, disorganization regarding content for the exams, and more rigorous standards. So the United States Department of Education has allowed Pennsylvania to pause a year in using their results. This pause means the results won't be used for computing school performance profile scores or teacher evaluations as required by law. We will update you on our scores and rankings versus other districts in our area across Pennsylvania in the coming months as part of Dr. Taylor's annual assessment presentation. But I can tell you that when you line up the North Hill School District scores to where the state thought they should be, we are far and above the line that they drew. And for that, I'm very proud of. So whenever we get those scores officially, Dr. Taylor will go through those and break them down. But please know it is a new benchmark year. Comparing them to last year is comparing apples to not even oranges, because they would both be fruit. But it's difficult. Our teachers worked hard. Our students worked hard. And our results will show when you see how far above that line we are. But again, that line was drawn after the tests were taken, after they were graded.
Okay, thank you. Comments on that? Okay,
I'm confused.
thank you.
Dr. Manarino, was there any explanation or logic given to the way they proceeded?
No.
Is there anything you don't understand about that?
Have we inquired with the Board of Education?
The superintendents as a group have discussed this thoroughly. It's the way it is. They being the Department of Education has justifications and rationale as to why it occurred that way. Just as an educator, I believe it's academic dishonesty if you give a student a test, grade the test, and then decide what is the passing score after you have the results. And that's my opinion as an educator. So there's, in my opinion also, there needs to be an explanation as to how that was allowed to occur. But we haven't received that.
And I'd like to add that they've had since 2013 to prepare for this, and someone failed.
They being?
Department of Education.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on, Mr. Witherell, I'm sorry, I skipped over the solicitor's report. Would you have anything for the meeting?
It was in the executive, my
Okay.
report was in executive session.
Thank you. That being said, we can move on to education. Mrs. Bender.
The Education Committee moves, or I'm sorry, at a different board meeting. I'm at Beatty right now. I should say the superintendent recommends, and I so move, that items 1 through 4 be approved.
A second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Muhal, it doesn't appear we have anything in technology unless you have something that you might want to add.
No, I have
Okay.
nothing.
Thank you. Athletics and activities, Dr. Nolish is not here. Would anybody like to take that, or I'll be glad to? No volunteers? Okay, I'll take it. With regards to the athletics and activities, there are actually 3 items there. A new student-initiated club, which is the Italian club, the ratification of bids, ratification of award, and rejecting of certain bids, uniform spring sports. A motion to approve items 1 through 3, making a motion that we approve items 1 through 3 on the athletics and activities.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Mrs. Bender or Mrs. Reed, I assume, we don't have anything under A.W. Beatty, however, do we have any comments that you want to make with regards to them?
Mrs. Bender does.
Yes, I do. First of all, I would like to welcome our new student rep. I'm so excited that we have someone here from Beatty once again. Mrs. Reed and I are the board representatives to Beatty, so we attend the Beatty meetings and the different functions at Beatty. So welcome. We have, Mrs. Reed and I had a meeting last night at Beatty, and we were given a number of items that we were discussing and that Dr. Manarino will get. But this year is the 50th anniversary of A.W. Beatty. It was opened in 50 years ago, which would be 1996, or not 1996, 1965.
Same year as the first Super Bowl.
Pardon me?
Same year as the first Super Bowl.
That's it, see,
Yeah.
we did that.
Okay.
All right, and what I would just like to tell the board members is there are functions that will be taking place at Beatty that you are more than welcome to come to, and would be nice if you would. The students on October 7th will be attending Canon Mac for student leadership. On October 8th, there's an alumni open house. So that will take place at the school. If you have an opportunity to attend, which we won't because that's our board meeting. Oh, darn. You'll have to tell us about it. Will you be there, Madeline?
I might be.
Are you Madeline? You won't be there?
I might be.
I hope you can, so you could tell us what's going on. Oh, darn it.
pressure, Madeline.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize that. But I know she'll be there for October 23rd, because that's Student Activity Day, and that will be held during the day. On November 2nd, there will be the Fall Advisory Board, and this is where those of you who are interested to see how Beatty operates, where the ideas come from, you have people from various industries and so on come to Beatty. They break out with the teachers. It's truly, truly an education. And also, want you to put this on your calendars this year if you can. I know Mr. Nudi always comes. We have a December holiday dinner, and all of the board members are invited. The students cook. It's just really a nice evening to get to know different board members from our 9 feeding school districts, and that's December 17th. So it would be nice if you somehow put that on your calendar. And that's it, really.
Thank you. Okay, we could move on to personnel. That'd be Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Wogus. Under Personnel and Executive Session, there were 6 items that were discussed, including resignations, appointments, job description, and the superintendent's contract, as well as other appropriate items. The superintendent recommends, and I so move, that the board approve personnel items 1 through 6.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Since you just approved my contract, I'd like to thank this board for having the faith in me to run this district. I've been here since 2002. I'm very proud to be the superintendent of this district. Nothing excites me more than to see the students light up in the classroom when we go to the classrooms and see the great things that our teachers are doing with them. And so I just really want you to know that I'm honored, I'm humbled, I love this job, I love this district, and I really appreciate the support that each of you give me every single day. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm very impressed with Dr. Manarino. He goes to the elementary schools. He'll pop in the classroom. He reads to the kids. I mean, he is a very visible and hands-on superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we could move on to policy. That would be Mrs.
That's
Reed.
me.
Looks like you've got a few here.
Okay. We have on the agenda for this evening, Policy 542, 842, 006, 114, 117, 705. I'd like to make a motion to table policies 2, 3, 4, and 5. After discussion and review, I feel the policies need further clarification. The superintendent recommends, and I so move, that the board approve and adopt policy items 1, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
That's, you got two motions on.
Yeah, you have
There's a
two
table and then there's the motions, Kathy. You have to vote on the table first.
Yeah, let's
What
vote
do I
on,
have to do?
let's vote on the
On a
table
table
first.
first.
Which,
Do the top motion, and we'll vote, and then do the second
Sorry
motion.
about that.
okay.
Okay, we'll start all over. I'd like to make a motion to table policy items 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Okay.
After discussion and review, I feel that policies need further clarification.
Second.
is there any other discussion?
I'd just like to know, I mean, I know there's issues there, but why are we tabling all these now? I think we should have discussed them.
I think there's just a little bit of wording changes, and they're not really drastic changes that we can put in there to make it clearer about the expectation, I think would be the best way to put it. It'll be a quick change, back on the agenda in October for its first reading. But there were some things that as we began to discuss them over the last week, that there's some minor changes that just to really make it clearer when we're talking about social media. So they will be right back on next month, but I thought that at this point, we had a first clean reading. Let's get it right. It's a new policy. It's a newly drafted policy. It's not like we're editing or revising one that we currently have. So we'll get it right the first time, and we'll get it back out here in October.
That's fine.
Okay.
The superintendent
Wait,
recommends.
gotta vote on it.
All in favor on the table of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now you can
Now let
move
her
on to
go.
your second one.
The superintendent recommends, and I so move, that the board approve and adopt policy items 1, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Kath.
Thank you.
Okay, Michael, looks like you got some community intergovernmental relations going on here.
Yes, all items related to the upcoming, well, no, not all of them, but the first couple items related to the upcoming PSBA meeting in Hershey that several of us will be attending. And then we also have a resolution supporting extending public transportation along the Perry Highway North Corridor. I think there was something in the press today about that.
Yeah, there was.
And then coming back, okay, so I guess we could start with a motion to approve items 1 through 3 on the Community Intergovernmental Relations agenda.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, then item number 5 is, you should have all seen the slate of candidates for the PSBA officers, and there were bios attached and videos from each of the candidates. So I would ask for a motion to nominate individuals for the posts of President-elect and Vice President-elect.
Mr. Nudi, you have your hand up first. You get first crack.
Mr. Wilgus, I'd like to make a motion that this board vote for Mark Miller for president of PSBA and Robert Schwartz as vice president-elect for PSBA.
I just have one question.
Sure.
What about Mary Burks? She's from Allegheny County. Wouldn't we want a hometown girl?
Mary Burke has very little or no experience with PSBA. She was put on as a last thought on the part of a couple of people.
So Mike, we now have two motions again.
Well, we just have one.
No, because Kathy made the motion
No,
and
I
Lou.
didn't
No,
make
she
a
didn't make a
motion.
motion.
I just asked a question.
She just
I
asked a
didn't make a
question,
motion.
so.
She made a comment.
Okay.
We just have a motion by Mr. Nudi for Mark Miller and Rob Schwartz. So I will entertain Mr. Nudi's motion. Would anybody like to second that?
Second.
Okay? And we can include your discussion if you wanted to with regards to Mary, or not. You could withdraw that, it's just, you made sure. Okay, All in favor for those two individuals?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay.
So that's the last formal thing on the agenda. I would just bring up one point of information that a group of us, who all was there, Pat? It was myself, you, Joanna,
Mr. McCullough.
and Bill McKellar, our public safety officer, met informally with representatives from Ross Township about a week ago, including 3 of their supervisors, to discuss the idea of the creation of a school resource officer position for the high school, which essentially would be the hiring entering into an agreement with the Ross Township to have a full-time Ross Township police officer stationed at the high school, on the hilltop, during the school year. We think that this position would provide many benefits, to the district. It would add an increased element of safety to the hilltop, and I think we saw today, for the second time already this year, we've had a bomb threat phoned into our high school. Not that we expect this to be a frequent occurrence, these kind of things, but having somebody in that capacity on the campus would allow for a quicker processing of these types of events, as opposed to a call coming into 911, the dispatcher getting in touch with the Ross Township Police, and the Ross Township Police sending personnel to the hilltop. We would have somebody right there to respond on the spot. The position would also, I think, really enable, assuming we get a good person in there, to establish a rapport with the students, and hopefully nip what could be some troublesome situations and catch them early, and really work with some kids who might otherwise wind up getting in trouble, and really working with the kids, and also to know we'd be able to get ahead of things in the community as well, based on the knowledge that this person would be able to gather day in and day out being in the building. There's also some grant money available to us for at least 1 year to get it kicked off. Of course, there's a lot of devils in the details, and before this could move forward, the Ross Township Commissioners would also have to get on board. They're expected to bring this up at their next public meeting, which is on Monday, which I'm going to attend, and anybody here can attend as well if they have any questions for us. But again, as far as details, as far as how the position would be paid for after the grant expires, and how the person is selected, all those, and the myriad other details, those would all have to be worked out. But just wanted to bring this up, that this is being discussed, and anybody has any questions, or Pat or Joanna, if I missed anything, now would be a good time to ask those questions.
Yeah, it's not a knee-jerk reaction as to the things that are occurring. It's something that we have been discussing for quite some time, and we are in the jurisdiction on this location, in the jurisdiction of the Ross Township Police Department. And that's what a school resource officer is. It's a police officer. So that's the reason we entered into discussions, because this is something we've been discussing that might be a good idea or a good direction to go, but there's nothing that really any of us can do except for make a partnership with Ross Township, because it would truly be a Ross police officer. And so that's where we started a discussion with the commissioners as to, is this something you would be interested in? Because there is quite a bit of grant money out there for us to be able to go to fund this type of program. And this is not a new program. This program exists in a lot of schools around this area, and we've seen it be very effective in those schools, and I believe it's something that Mr. McKellar highly supports, and was really communicating with me quite a bit to see if we could get this to the commissioner level for discussion. And so we had that discussion just to see if they would be interested in continuing the conversation, because they really could have left the conversation that they're not interested in providing that officer. And so that's really where we are. It's really in the discussion phase, and
Would they be permitted to carry a gun in school?
yes, they're a police officer.
Because being a police officer?
Yes. And that was also part of that discussion, that I am firmly
I'm so
believer that
opposed
we
to that.
attempt to keep firearms off campus. I mean,
Yeah.
we've said that all along. However, a police officer carrying a weapon, in my opinion, is a completely different thing than a security guard or a private
Depends
security
upon what
firm.
officer.
So
Everything.
but that's all part of the discussion. If we chose to move forward with this, that's part of that conversation. So
Okay,
really,
what-
we are in the conversation stages with this to see if it's even feasible for us to work this out.
Will we all be included in this conversation, or?
Yes, and the reason why it was just Mike at the beginning was because it is an intergovernmental relation, and I didn't
Right.
want to put it in a situation where the commissioners or Ross Township was not interested in this, and then there would have been no reason to really move it forward.
And they would be up here? I mean, they would
That's all.
stay here all day?
Yes.
Or is that all in the details yet?
That's all in the details as to really what it entails, but they're at least willing to have a conversation about it, which is a nice thing.
What other schools have it? You said we have them around here?
Johanna, would you be able to answer that?
Off the top of my head, this is a pretty common occurrence in most school districts. So off the top of my head, let me start from the southern part of Allegheny County and move up. We have Upper St. Clair, Mount Lebanon, Keystone Oaks, Baldwin, Quaker Valley, Seneca Valley. I'm not sure about North Allegheny, or Shaler or Hampton. So
Okay, then with...
so those are the three, but I just named. I
Okay,
think, 8
so
or 9.
they're the ones who have this program, and their police officers are where?
Their police officers are mainly located, for example, Chartiers Valley has an officer in each of their schools. That's an agreement between their township
They
and
have 'em where?
municipality.
I can't-
Each of the
In
schools.
each one of their schools.
They have one officer in
One
each
officer
school?
in each one of their schools, Chartiers Valley has. Most school districts have one officer that is housed usually in the high school.
Okay.
And then also goes into the middle school and elementary schools as needed, sometimes for educational purposes, to present programs.
And they all carry guns?
They do not all carry guns. The majority of them do.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Especially those that are employed by the townships.
Okay, thank you.
If we wouldn't receive a grant, would we still, this year, would we still continue looking into it, or?
Yes.
Because of the cost factor?
I
We
think-
don't know a cost factor
I think we
on
need
it.
to have that, I think we need to get through the details of what this looks like, what the finances are involved, how we split the finances, those types of things, because again, it's a Ross police officer that would be stationed here. So there's a lot of details, and we really just talked about the concept, and would they be willing to continue to explore the concept? So that stuff I don't really know. The grant, actually, I got the email about the grant 6 minutes before the meeting.
Oh.
It was that hot off of the PDE press as far as that grant was concerned. So we were having that discussion, then I got the email about the grant. So we'll see how it
Speaking of
goes.
details about security, it jogged my memory that I think a while back, we were discussing somewhat of a complete security plan, cameras, maybe a gate down at the Rochester. And I believe, Dr. Banana, that was, is there an update forthcoming? We don't need to.
Actually, ironically, that is something that we have gone into phases with, and we are now looking at the high school again and this campus to complete that process. And that's something that I would like to work on this year and be able to give the board some more information on as things unfold with that.
So then this would fold
This
right
would
into
tie,
this
this would
plan?
pull right into that.
Thank you.
Exactly.
With it being one of her goals, it's kind of how the ball really got rolling when it did.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of information that we have to gather before we make it.
I would just like to say one more thing, not in regard to the police, in regard to, I feel bad I can't attend the conference this year in Hershey. It's absolutely wonderful. And each year I learned an awful lot by the classes you can attend. I wanted everybody to know, if they didn't, I just found out myself, that Arlene Bender's going to be acknowledged by the president of the diner at the president's dinner. Isn't it the dinner or luncheon? For her years of service on the school board. So thank you, Arlene. I won't be there to clap for you, but we'll be thinking of you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, anything, that's it?
That's it.
Oh, could I add something?
Sure.
Here? For those, a really nice thing is happening this year also. Our jazz band will be performing this year for the people the delegates at the PSBA. Last year we had the rock orchestra perform. This year, the jazz band is performing. And we also have 4 students and 3 teachers from Beatty that will be there. They have at the conference students from various school districts that bring in their ideas and work with discuss this with other school board members. So we're being represented by 2 groups this year.
Great. Thank you, Arlene. Okay, we can move on to finance. That would be Mr. Burnett.
Thank you, Mr. Wilgus. There are 8 items to vote on. First one is the general fund bill, the construction fund bills, capital project fund bills, budget transfers, the payroll for the month of August 2015, the 2014 Westview Borough Real Estate Tax Collector Audit Report acceptance, and the 2014 Township of Ross Township Real Estate Tax Collector Audit Report acceptance. The superintendent's
Petty cash.
I'm sorry, thank you, Arlene, and the petty cash funds. The superintendent recommends, and I so move, that the board approve items 1 through 8.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Tim.
Mhm.
Support services, that'd be self-proclaimed Dr. Nudie.
There's one item for approval on the support services agenda for the evening. This evening, it's the high school, middle school library renovation project change notices. Superintendent recommends, and I so move, that the board approve support services at item 1.
I'm not getting anything. You're right.
Second.
Is there any discussion? I hope I'm not speaking out of school, but of course, we've had a chance to look at the high school library, and it is just, it's really
Yeah.
covered. And I know we're going to eventually open it up to the public and let them know.
Yeah, the bookshelves are here.
Okay.
That's really what it was.
It still
There was
needs some work.
There were some late changes as we began the construction project with the location of some of the bookshelves, the height. And so once that was all finalized, we were really into the last week of June. And then when you add 4th of July into the mix shortly after that, they get ordered. They arrive today. So the construction of the bookshelves is going to occur beginning tomorrow, hopefully through the weekend. As soon as the shelves are here, the books arrive, and there we go. Library is officially open. But yes, we're looking for ways that we can open that
Sort
up.
of like an open house,
to the
at
entire-
least for the
yep.
constituents.
We just wanted to.
Yeah, if anybody, once that's announced, if anybody has an opportunity to see that library, Jeff, everybody who's involved in that, great job. It's really at state of the art. It's going to be nice. Okay. That being said, we have a motion on the floor to accept. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Before we close the meeting, does anybody have any additional public comments that we want to make? That being none, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.